All right, let's jump right in. Picture this. A company you've put your money into, a solid piece of your portfolio, suddenly just stops. Everything. Its entire digital life is frozen solid, held hostage by attackers you can't see, demanding millions of dollars. And look, this isn't some movie plot. This is happening in boardrooms right now. And for you, as an investor, it's a direct threat to your capital.
So this is the big question staring management right in the face. The company is totally paralyzed. The clock is ticking loudly. And every single decision they make in the next 3 days, every one, could be the difference between a painful recovery and a complete corporate collapse. So what does that chaos actually look like from the inside?
We're looking at this as a ticking clock scenario because, well, that's exactly what it is. The choices they have are brutal, and time is the one thing they absolutely cannot afford to waste. So let's start that clock.
Okay, those first 24 hours, it's all about damage control. Pure crisis mode. This isn't about some 5-year strategy, it's about triage. It is a frantic, desperate race to stop the bleeding before the whole company is compromised.
So what does that race actually look like on the ground? Well, it comes down to 3 immediate, non-negotiable actions. First, isolate. You got to pull the plug, disconnect everything. It feels drastic, but it's the only way to stop that ransomware from spreading like a virus through your network. Second, assemble the war room. And this is not just an IT problem, not even close. You need legal, you need operations, you need cybersecurity, and you absolutely need outside experts all in one room making decisions fast. And third, you assess. What got hit? How bad is it really? And, the multi-million-dollar question, are our backups okay? Are they even usable?
And this leads to the moment everyone dreads. The ransom demand is sitting there, blinking on a screen, and management has to make probably the hardest choice of their careers. Do we pay? This single question is just loaded with financial, legal, and ethical landmines.
Look, the danger of paying is just immense. There is zero guarantee you'll actually get your data back. You might just be painting a giant target on your back for another attack. And oh yeah, you could accidentally be breaking international sanctions or completely voiding your cyber insurance policy. But here's where it gets a little more nuanced. While pretty much every expert says paying is the absolute last resort, a lot of negotiators will advise opening a line of communication. Now, this isn't about agreeing to pay. It's a strategic stall. It's about buying your tech teams precious time to try and recover on their own.
Okay, so let's say the company somehow gets through that initial 72-hour storm. They are not out of the woods, not by a long shot. In fact, they've just shown up at the start of a very long, very expensive road to recovery. The real costs? They're only just beginning to show up.
First up, the hit to operations. The average downtime for a business is 72 hours. Think about that. That's 3 full days where you are either completely shut down or just barely limping along. The lost revenue, the broken supply chains, it is a massive, immediate financial punch to the gut.
And then you get the bill for the cleanup. On average, $4.5 million. And that's before you even think about paying a ransom. That money covers everything from the emergency responders, the forensic experts, the legal teams, to literally rebuilding systems from scratch and notifying all your customers.
But honestly, this next number, this might be the scariest one of all. 40%. That is the potential rate of customers who will just get up and leave after a data breach. This isn't about money or systems anymore. This is about trust. And once that is broken, winning it back is a monumental, maybe impossible task. This is the long-term damage that can cripple a company for years.
And rebuilding that trust starts with this methodical, painstaking recovery process. In that first week, all the focus is on restoring systems from clean backups, if they have them, and of course, closing the door the attackers walk through. At the same time, forensic teams are hunting through the network, looking for any hidden backdoors the attackers might have left behind. And then finally, they start fortifying the defenses, aggressively rolling out things like multi-factor authentication and network segmentation that, let's be honest, probably should have been there in the first place. So here's the bottom line. The ransom demand itself, that's often just the tip of the iceberg. The real dangers are that payment trap, where you pay and get nothing, and the collapse of trust that leads to lawsuits and massive fines. And this last one, this is so critical for you as an investor. A weak response is a massive red flag. It points to a deep, systemic failure in how the company is run and how it manages risk.
Okay, so that's the anatomy of the attack from their side. Now let's flip this whole thing around and talk about you. As an investor, you are not helpless here. This is the moment to get engaged, to ask the really tough questions, and to hold the board's feet to the fire. This is your playbook.
So, what are the key questions you need to be asking right now? Is there a clear leader in that war room, or is it just chaos? Do they actually know how bad the damage is, or are they just guessing? Ask them directly, what is the state of your backups? And most importantly, what is your concrete plan to rebuild the trust you just shattered? These 6 questions will tell you everything you need to know about how well they're handling this.
All right, here it is, your 4-step action plan. Step 1, communicate. You demand a full, honest briefing from management. No corporate spin. Step 2, review. Get a look at their incident response plan. Do they even have one? What are they going to invest in to stop this from happening again? 3, assess. What is the real long-term hit to this company's valuation going to be? And 4, supervise. This is not a one-and-done event. You require regular progress reports to make sure they're protecting your investment.
You know, in the end, it really all comes down to this. A ransomware attack starts as a technical failure, sure, but the response? That is a human test. It is a raw, completely unfiltered look at a company's leadership, its culture, and its real resilience. And for an investor, how a company performs in its absolute darkest hour, well, that might be the best indicator you'll ever get of its true long-term value. The question is, are they passing the test?